各位朋友们，大家好。
Hello everyone.
今天呢，咱们这个内容是非常神奇啊，就是不得不信，不能不信呐。但是在这个话题之前呢，先给大家隆重的介绍啊。那再过几天呢，也就是到5月5号，就是正式的浴佛节，阴历4月初8。那么在我们各个禅堂庆祝佛陀圣诞的这个日子呢，还是要靠大家这个比较6周日休息的时候就比较好，可能会提前1到2天。各个禅堂不一样哈，可能到周6、周日都有啊。那温哥华禅堂呢，我们现在所在的温哥华禅堂是周日，就是5月4号周日。
May the
4th,
and that's the Buddha's bathing celebration fair. It's actually quite interesting. I can't tell you a lot of details, but there are a lot of fun activities to do. So it's actually pretty relaxing to celebrate Buddha's birthday. I'm sure that a lot of our new friends, they may not have a deep understandings of Buddha's birthday. Let me give you a brief history. About 2,600 years ago, in ancient India, probably close to Nepal, there is a prince. So he was about to be born. The father was a king in that region, in the kingdom. So now, India is actually a unification of several small kingdoms. So it is like a province. The father is the head of the kingdom. And the mother, one day, she was pregnant. So there is actually a rule that during that period it's better for them to go to the maternal parents' house to deliver. Maybe it's because of the local practice. Halfway along the road, she came across a forest or a garden. I think it's very much like a forest to provide some shelter. And Buddha was born there. Upon the birth of Buddha, there are actually 9 dragons appearing in the heavens, in the sky. And they are spraying water. But actually, maybe the description is like that. But maybe at that point in time, it was actually raining. And it was bathing the Buddha. There are some divine aspects. So when the baby Buddha was born, he stopped to step on the ground. And every step, there is a flower opening. And he said that in heaven and on earth, I am supreme. So if you look at the pictures, it is a little like that. Maybe the divine one, the birth is like that. My understanding is that when Buddha was born, he probably said something, but the words are not known to many people, but probably to some, they understand. Who understand, who read the divine, they understand. And shortly after birth, Buddha's mother passed on. And after that is the aunt, which is the mom's sister, that took care of Buddha. Actually, in ancient time, it is quite common that when the elder sister passed away, the younger sisters will become the new wife of the husband. So I think Sikamuni Buddha, when he was a child, he may have been quite depressed. Although the mom, the stepmom is an aunt, but it's not the biological mother. So I think when he was growing up, he must have felt quite depressed. And probably not a very happy child. So when he grew up, he saw a lot of sufferings. And I think that also affected him emotionally. In ancient time, medically not very advanced, so it is very common for people to die upon birth. Sometimes both the mom and the baby died in delivery. But some, the mom died in the process of delivery, and sometimes it's also the baby died upon birth or unborn or stillbirth. It was very common in ancient time. And actually, when the baby is born, within the first year, they are still subject to a lot of risk, a lot of health risk. There are different types of disease, and because in ancient time they don't have proper medical care, so the survival rate is actually low. Sometimes they have some attack of virus or some bacterial infections or even plague. But as the society progressed, there are a lot of medical advancements. We found out that, for example, a closed skin should not get married. Why is that so? Because of the gene mutation, it is likely that they may produce offsprings that may be have some physical defects. So in Singapore, they are very careful in terms of hygiene. Every time they hear about some issues, then they will take actions to clean the place. And that's why in Singapore, you find that the streets are very clean. And they did this very well. But in ancient time, it was not like that. Because of poverty, there are a lot of risks, of hygiene-related risks. And once infected and without proper medical care, many end up die or suffer. The other thing is about age populations. About 2,600 years ago, during that time in China, and also in ancient India, I think it's about 25 years old. Because a lot of time when they are very young, they become old folks, old people. But in modern days, when you're 25 years old, you're considered a young person.
可是呢，一边还走不出自己那个幼儿魔幻的身影啊，总感觉我还是个 baby 啊，因为兄弟姐妹少啊，当代对不对？
But modern times we have very few siblings, and when you're 25 years old, you may still feel like you are a young kid, because your parents may still dote on you. I think part of the reason is also we tend to live much older age. So in ancient time, you may have reached old age, but in modern time, you are just considered a young folks.
所以这个人口老化，活36岁上岁数大的，但是佛陀呢，活到80多岁哈。
So for Buddha, he lived till 80 over years old. So that's considered a very old age. It's equivalent to 200 years or 300 years in modern time. There are very few people that was able to live till 80 over years old. In ancient time, that's 2,600 years ago. So you must think about it from the perspective that it was 2,600 years ago without proper medical care. So it was quite a rarity for him to live so old. So probably with cultivation, one can live to a ripe old age. So birth, death, sickness, or suffering, eventually everyone will leave the world. And there are some people who are sick from a very young age, and they suffer for a long time. So every human beings, we have parents. We have parents that deliver us. So there will be someone who passed away in the family. Maybe it's your great-grandparents, your grandparents. Every one of us want to live healthy. But sometimes, yesterday the person may have a good health, but suddenly the person just passed away. A sudden death. Such things happens. And that's why birth, old age, sickness, and death is very difficult to explain. And Buddha was also confused. Or rather, a lot of such problems. Well, if you think of it from modern life, many of you who come and listen, do you have questions? It doesn't matter today you are 18 years old or 28 years old, 30 over years old or 50 over years old. Do you have questions? Actually, Buddha during that time, he has a lot of questions. When I was a child, I too have many questions. What about the two of you? What do you think when I was young? I have a question. Do you know what was my question when I was young? Can you guess? No, Master, I'm not sure. Actually, when I was young, every time when the sky was clear, I liked to look at the sky. When the moon and the stars are bright and clear, I look at it. I just felt that that's my home. I always feel that my home don't belong to Earth. What was I thinking? Why did I end up here? How did I come to this earth? And actually, during childhood, it's not only pain. It's that pain. If you tell me it's painful, I don't feel it because I have no basis of comparison. So when you have no basis of comparison, you'll not be able to understand that, because that was pretty much the type of life at that point in time. Although I had the questions, why do I am up here? I don't want to be here. I want to go back. And during that time when I was young, I was always sick. And I always thought maybe it's good that I returned. But to where? I was confused. I do not know. I have some memories of the past, but I don't have a lot of memories. But I became very confused. So during the growing periods of Buddha, I felt that he talked about birth, old age, sickness, and death is only a broad categories. So in the initial years when Buddha was spreading the Dharma, he talked about questions, but these questions were very broad questions, but with very little answers, very written scripts about it. Do we have the questions? Why are we on earth? So your parents give birth to you? Why is it that the parents need to get married in order to give birth to kids? But why is it that the cow, the goat, they don't have to get married and yet they can produce offsprings? So there are many questions. Why is it that sometimes it rains, sometimes it doesn't? Actually, I feel that asking questions is for you to understand the world better. Well, for people, they may feel that these are very common. Why do you ask? So later on, Buddha slowly grew up. And he eventually got married. It was a form of arranged marriage, but I think he was not used to marriage life, and he escaped in the middle of the night. Why did he do that? He escaped to cultivate. A lot of time for youngsters, they are very determined in something, but because of their determinations, it actually promotes advancement in technology or new aspect of life. So for Buddhas, he escaped from palace to cultivate so that he have a better understanding of life. He tried to find a deeper meaning of life. And during that time, there are already some cultivators. So broadly speaking, it may be the ancient religions of India, and this cultivator have some spiritual practice, and many of them have attained a very high level. So during that time, he also met some of these cultivators. The father, as a king, he may actually invited some of these cultivators to the palace to talk about the future, to make some predictions. So Sikamuni Buddha, at a very young age, had a chance to interact with these cultivators. And through his interactions, he was amazed that these people have so much knowledge. Everything that the father cannot answer, these cultivators were able to answer the questions. In fact, they have answers to even the most difficult questions. So the young Sikamuni Buddha was very attracted to this. So he believed that these cultivators have vast wisdoms. So he asked them, well, the cultivators say that, well, we do not own the wisdom, but if you were to cultivate, you too can attain that level of wisdom. So although Buddha got married and has a family, but he has these aspirations to cultivate. Why? Because he hoped to seek answers to many questions. And once he took on the path of cultivation, he cultivated to 7 or 8 years. In the beginning, it was tough cultivation. Actually, even till today, this type of methods, this type of practice, is still widely practiced in certain aspects of Buddhism. So, for example, they say that, well, we do not want to wear so many clothes. So it is actually trying to contradict to many aspects of life. So they want to, for example, if you're someone that's who are very scared of a lot of things, so you challenge yourself to be a more courageous person by cultivate in the forest. But in modern days, it is very difficult for you to practice. But in India today, they are like that. They don't wear clothes. And even if the insects bite them, they do not wear clothes. So, for example, maybe they put their hands and they tell themselves that they will not want to put down. And over years, they couldn't move. After 3 years, you can't even move at all. What happens then? Actually, they have no wants, no desire. Well, you don't do anything. You just meditate. You just sit there and meditate. You have no joy, no anger. You are able to ward off all desires or fears or emotions or likings.
是被饿死的感觉，鬼来吓唬你，等等各种的让你觉得担忧、恐惧的东西，我都不在乎。我就是在一种叫无欲无求、
They have no desire
无畏的状态
and
下，
no fear.
就是这样，这就能打坐。我说的方法
And
越
you
简单，
meditate
其实你
there.
越做不到。如果今天有人说我撑了1个月
Well, if today someone says that they are able to sit there and meditate, and after 1 month, your mind will gain some form of purity. And after a year, your heart will be very pure, and you'll be able to predict and make predictions much easier. When you have no hope, no desire, it becomes higher level. The higher level is it's like you think, but actually you're not thinking. And actually, you don't even think about anything, about fear, about desire. Those disappears as well. You do not have any thinking, have any thoughts. If you can attain that level, you may not become a Buddha, but I think that you will be very wise. So, our online friends, please do not imitate. Because you may end up, because of hunger, you affect your life. You cannot just cultivate and then not do anything. So it was actually during that time. It is a time during Sikamuni time, ancient time, that was his way of cultivation. He did that for 7 or 8 years. And he didn't wear clothes because it was a tough type of meditation. So when he attained the level of without desire, when he achieved liberation, but he found that he was not able to get rid of all the sufferings. And he ended up having very long hairs, and even the birds built a nest on his hair, on his bundle of hair. But he don't feel that he has really gained wisdom. So he thought that he want to take a bath. So he was very hungry and was very dirty. And once he entered the river water, he fainted. And a shepherd girl came along and saw this person and felt that maybe he needed some food. So she offered him some food. And he gained memories, and he started. There are actually many trees near where he was saved. So he took a tree and he took. He was determined to gain enlightenment this time. So he decided that he would end up eating food. And he felt that maybe meditation is the source to gain wisdom. But before that, he made a vow. He said that if by meditating here, I do not gain wisdom, I will not step up. I will continue to meditate till death. So that was his single thought. And he sat there and entered a meditative state. So apparently during this period, he went through a lot of mental stress. Their pain, their suffering. What do you think? Do you think there are flies that comes to disturb him? Yes. So disturbance, there are even like thunders, there are even poisonous snakes that come close to him. But he has no fear. Why was he so determined? We do not know. But he overcame all these barriers. After he overcome these barriers, he gained enlightenment, and he gained the truth, and he knew the path to liberation.
像一个现在无人机似的，我站在半空中，我想到哪个角落那角落，像一个蚊子一样那样，也就是蚊子会飞也不是佛呀，对不对？鹰飞那么高，更也不是佛，也不是魔呀，它只是一个更比人类更低级的动物而已。
He became someone that's more wise.
飞得高和无处不在的飞也不一定是解脱。而人类的这个解脱之中是在于开悟。
So for human beings, our liberations is that we can accept ourselves, we are able to get rid of all desires. Actually, this is very different from the Western concept of gods. Because in Western concept of gods, there's a belief, there's an existence of God, and that you need to believe God in order to gain liberations. But Buddhism is different. You need to self-cultivate in order to attain the Buddhahood. So that is very distinct difference.
我觉得说，我们修行是为了让自己获得更高的智慧，让人类活得更好。
So although that's Buddha's path to liberation, but we have to, we are different in modern time. Because you are not, if you were to cultivate, and in order to attain liberation, you decide to starve yourself to death, that is not the right way. Because that is a form of killing. Have you thought about your parents? So do not, you have to be careful. Do not imitate Buddha's way of gaining enlightenment. Well, maybe you want, if it's okay for you to have a meal in a day. Just make sure that you can continue to survive. Well, you may say that I'm going to have 3 bowls of porridge that last me for 9 days of meditation. But honestly, that 3 bowls will not be able to last you for 49 days. Well, if you imagine that you are sitting there to cultivate, you may not be able to withstand. So I just want to be clear that do not imitate Buddha's way of cultivations. But indeed, through cultivations, it helps to diminish the desires. And when you have less, or when you get rid of these desires, it doesn't mean that you can attain Buddhahood. But I think that you are a different person already. You are as good as a saint. There are a lot of questions that you feel. You will be able to have the wisdoms to overcome them. You may not have attained the perfect enlightenment, but certainly you have achieved at a higher level of spirituality. So there is this stories of the 8 divine one in the Chinese ancient stories. You can be you'll be like one of those. Well, at a very basic level, you would have attained at a higher level of cultivation than the average person. Well, when you attain this level of without any desire, without wants, you will have a lot of intuitions. You have very clear views. You may ask, if you attain that, can you achieve more? In Buddha's scriptures, Buddha says that forms is different. When you have no desires, you have no dreams, and maybe a few days of cultivations, you'll be able to gain enlightenment. So at the 49 days, Buddhas feel that his son, broadly speaking, he entered a state of emptiness. In emptiness, there's form, and in form, there's emptiness. So there is this great image of sun, like raising. It is like wisdom. The sunlight is like the wisdom. So it's like I am the sky. The sky is me. Maybe he attained this type of feelings. Because such feelings of enlightenment, it is very difficult for you to show it in picture. Maybe it is in the face of questions or in the face of problems. His wisdom shows. But as a human beings, they could feel it. Actually, in my own cultivations, I have many types of feelings. Well, I will not elaborate that deeper. So that's why Buddha started to preach Buddhism. And even those who were instructed by his father to stay with him, they too became monks. They too follows him to become the first 5 disciples who actually followed him from the palace. And they became his first disciple. And subsequent to that, more and more people start to follow Buddhas, listen to his teaching. There are many sponsors that sponsors Buddhas. They even sponsor him a huge place to preach Dharma. There are at least more than 2,500 disciples that follows him.
超级歌星的话，他随身团队也没这么多人，对不对？最多100多人。你看那时候迈克尔·杰克逊的话，对不对？美国那个摇滚巨星，他100多人，对不对
？So even like Michael Jackson, he has very close followers, probably 100 over people. But for Buddhas, he has 2,500 disciples that follow him wherever he preached. So these sponsors are not ordinary person. These sponsors were very rich people. An average person would not be able to do that. So slowly, many people, in the process of learning the Dharma, they gain enlightenment, they gain ease of life, So a lot of people gain inspirations by listening to Buddha's Dharma. So on the birth date of Buddha, when we are young, my master said, bring a scoop of clean water, and in the water, we place a lot of fragrance, a lot of flowers. You cannot use your hands to touch. And you take a single scoop of pure water to bath the Buddha. And if the flower petals fall on the Buddha's head, it signifies that the Buddha's light shined upon you, stars align for good fortunes, and you have a year filled with great blessings. Even though you can be a naughty person, you will receive the blessing. If your body needs to be healthy, the moment when you have the flower petals falls onto the body, it symbolizes receiving health, wealth, and joyful events. And it falls onto the legs, it also means that you will be very auspicious. So every time when we bathe the Buddhas, it is like bathing our other self, to allow us to gain health, to gain auspiciousness. Maybe in the moment of bathing the Buddhas, you receive Buddha's blessings. But if you do not bathe the Buddhas, maybe for example, you are supposed to be a level 3, a third level type of school, but because you bathe the Buddhas, you manage to get to the universities of your wish. As long as you have the wish, by doing that, if the flower petals falls on the Buddha's head, even if you want to be president, your wish will be fulfilled. And not only that, you'll be able to wash your hands. Well, it is very common that for kids to have bad habits. Maybe they smoke, or maybe they drink, or they don't study well, and they're very bad friends. It's fine. So the parents bring the kids during this period to wash the hands in the golden bowl. And before that, write your wish. You'll be able is the purifications. You will obtain Buddha's radiance and blessings and break the bad habits. And by ridding off the bad habits, you get a good and auspicious life. And after that period of purifications, you become a very good student, you study well, you have a bright future. And your friends, the good friends who come close to you, because sometimes it's relating to karma. And it's just at that point in time, the kids will have bad company. But when Buddha's light shined upon them, or upon the child, when the Buddha's light protect the child, all these bad companies will leave. Because they cannot stand the fragrance. They cannot stand the Buddha's light. That's the reason. So I encourage all of you to participate in the Buddha's, beating the Buddha's celebrations. So it was a very relaxed method. Whatever you do, maybe you may bathe the Buddhas or you may make some offerings. Those are very auspicious. So there are 4. This is a year of the snakes. So we have snake, tiger, pigs, and the monkey. If you want to be safe this year, go and bathe the Buddha so that you can have auspiciousness in your life. And that is wisdom, someone that's wise and receive Buddha's blessing. And besides this, we do have some stories to share as well. And this story is unbelievable yet real. So our friends from all over the world, you may want to take this opportunity to look at the various activities that's at the center that's closest to you so that you can participate in bathing the Buddha ceremony. So masters, we have a few stories to share. The first is Hui Ling from Malaysia. She said, "Hello, Master. I'm Hui Ling, and my niece grew up under my care. I treat her as my own daughter, and we share a mother-daughter bond. She married in 2022 at the age of 31. During a pre-marriage health checkup, she was found to have blockages in both fallopian tubes. The doctor told her that she must undergo surgery to unblock them. Otherwise, her chance of conceiving would be 0. My niece had always been healthy, with regular menstruation, so this news left her very depressed. A year after marriage, as the doctors predicted, she was still not pregnant. The doctor insisted that without the surgery, conceiving was impossible. However, my niece hesitated, worried about the risks and potential after effects of surgery, and kept delaying it. After learning about this, in July 2023, I offered 3 days of blessing lamps at the Sarabang Bodhi Meditation Center for her, praying for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to bless and protect her, eliminate obstacles, and help her to conceive soon. I also offered 3 days of liberation lamps for her karmic creditors. In addition, I sponsored a year-long offerings of light and make offerings to 6 Buddhas, Medicine Buddhas, Upstore Bodhisattvas, the Western Tree Saints, and Mahakala for 49 days each. I'm a volunteer in the food preparation department. Every time I was on duty, I would kneel respectfully before the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and the photos of Grandmaster JinBodhi, sincerely praying for my niece to receive their blessings and fulfill her wish. Unexpectedly, 2 months after making the offerings, my niece conceived, and much to her surprise and to my joy, it turned out that Buddhas and Bodhisattvas have heard my prayers. I was overjoyed. After she became pregnant, her specialist conducted a routine checkup. So he could not explain how it's possible for someone with 100% bilateral fallopian tube blockage to conceive. And during the 3rd month of pregnancy, a prenatal check revealed that the fetus might have Down syndrome, requiring further blood tests. We were terrified. I immediately offered lights for her. 2 weeks later, the result came out and the baby was healthy. After 10 months, she gave birth to a healthy baby girl and the whole family was overjoyed. After birth, I took care of the baby myself. She is lively and adorable, loved by everyone. She grew up smoothly, rarely falling ill. When she was about 1 year old and about to walk, I would often take her to the meditation center. Fellow brothers and sisters who know the story of the offering called her Bodhi Baby. While I was busy in the kitchen, she would play happily with other volunteers, showing no fear of strangers and never cried. Influenced by her surrounding, even at a very young age, she would bow to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas when visiting the meditation center. When I chanted, she would sit quietly beside me. Fellow practitioners also praise her for being well-behaved. Every year, I continue to offer lights and make offerings to the Buddha statue for my niece, praying for her smooth life. And in July 2024, my niece successfully gave birth to a second daughter. I am deeply grateful to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Grandmaster for allowing my niece to give birth to healthy children and a happy family. She is so lucky. She has blocked fallopian tubes. And even like the medically proven that it's very difficult to conceive. And the doctors encouraged her to go for an operation. But all she did was like offerings. And then Buddhas heard her prayer. And she received the Buddha's light. And she became pregnant. And now she has 2 babies. So even the doctors were so surprised. Because she has 100% bilateral fallopian tubes blockage. It is impossible. But she managed to conceive and deliver to a healthy baby. So this is something that's unexplainable. It's unbelievable, yet real. Can you explain this? No. Especially in modern days, it is not easy to conceive. Actually, in Bodhi meditations, we have heard so many of these stories. We're so happy to hear the stories. It is not possible. Impossible. It's not possible, but it's real. So if there's no control, she could even give birth to the 3rd child. Congratulations. Master, shall we have a gift for her?
好，送这家的这个慧玲是吧？对，给你一瓶普洱茶哈。
So Hui Ling, there is this pu'er tea for you, wishing you longevities.
又苗条又长寿哈。对。哎，所以这2个宝宝呢。
And for the 2 baby, we have this 8 auspicious treasure bits to provide protections to you. And for the niece, it is lapis lazuli bracelet, wishing you safe and auspiciousness, and wishing all even the 2 children will have successful studies. So Master, we talk about purification, and I have a story about purification. Hello, Master. I'm Jia Yi from Singapore. I started smoking in my 20s and it continued for nearly 30 years. Initially, I just followed the crowds. When hanging out or attending gatherings with friends, I just gradually becomes a habit. So on weekdays, I would smoke about 6 to 7 cigarettes a day. and on weekends even up to 10. I knew smoking was harmful. Although I didn't have any serious health issues, after smoking I often felt more exhausted, mentally drained, with a dull complexion, and have a dry skin. After a long day of work, I often feel breathless and needed to take deep breaths several times to recover. I wanted to quit smoking, but it was extremely difficult for me, especially by the time I was in my 50s with almost 30 years of smoking history. Smoking has already become a kind of ritual in my life. After meals, after using the restroom, my hand would automatically reach for a cigarette. Later, in 2022, I participated in a blessing ceremony held by Bodhi Meditation Singapore. One of the programs was purifications, washing hands in the golden basins, where volunteers encouraged us to write down our bad habits we wanted to quit. I mustered my courage and wrote "Quit Smoking," hoping to truly let it go with the help of this opportunity. The next day, Master had a 7 days online chanting class, and I participated through YouTube from home. It was my first time joining a chanting class. While chanting, I constantly thought of my family, siblings, and friends, sending the blessings of the chanting to them and wishing them health and peace. At the same time, I silently made a wish. I hope I can truly succeed in quitting smoking. This chanting class brought me an unprecedented experience. Normally, I'd start feeling tired around 8 to 9 p.m. and prepare to sleep after 9. But during those 7 days after chanting, I felt energized and full of vitality, able to happily stay active until 10 or 11, and my mood was exceptionally joyful. Even more miraculous, I felt a sensation like an electric current in my palms, and when I looked, I found my palms had become plump, full, and radiant. The most surprising thing was, on Tuesday morning, after the chanting class ended, I woke up and found I had absolutely no desire to smoke. In the past, I had a complete smoking routine: 1 cigarette after getting up and going to the bathroom, 1 after meals, and 1 while working whenever I went to the restroom. So these actions had become subconscious habits, and my hand would automatically reach for a cigarette. But that day, I didn't even think about smoking, not in the morning, noon, or afternoon, not a single thought of smoking the whole day. I thought it might just be temporary. But then the second day, third day, I still have no desire to smoke. I was incredibly surprised, and even my husband found it unbelievable. How could I suddenly stop smoking completely? We both felt it was a miracle. My son was overjoyed, saying that the air at home had become so much fresher and everyone felt much lighter. Even when gathering with friends who still smoke, watching them light up, I had absolutely no urge. My friends found it incredible too. I felt that the thought of smoking has become completely removed from my mind, and this change has lasted for over 2 years now. Now, I feel fresher and more energetic, no longer short of breath like before. My heels are no longer dried and cracked. My friends also say my complexions look much brighter than before. I am filled with gratitude. Because of this event, I was able to receive the blessings that helped me to quit smoking over 30 years. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Buddha and Bodhisattvas. Wow, what a miracles, right? It's so unbelievable yet real. So I think a lot of time, these habits, like smoking, they're so difficult to get rid of these bad habits, even like gambling, even like taking drugs. Those who want to quit these bad habits, many of them do not have the determination to do it. Yes, a lot of things, once you get addicted, it's hard for you to quit. I remember when we were young, there was a toilet, a row of toilets. A lot of guys, they sat there and they get a hold onto a cigarette. Even though you are not a smoker, you end up smoking. You end up breathing in the smoke. Actually, for those who are addicted to smoking, they end up having to smoke a pack of cigarettes How many cigarettes are there in a pack? 20? It becomes a habit. So what happens to our lungs? The lungs will turn to be like coffee colors. It's not possible to clear it. I remember when I was young, I helped my neighbor. Trying to clean the smoke. So can you imagine if the oil is in the lung? The nicotine? Well, it's not possible to get rid of for your entire life. Whether it will lead to lung cancer, we do not know, but definitely you will cause some harm. So that's why if you look at the cigarette box now, they will tell you that there's a risk of cancer, and lung cancer is a very direct impact. Let me ask you, do you ever thought about wanting to smoke? No, never. And I think I'm sensitive to the smoke. Actually, for me, there are 2 times I felt that I want to be like a man, and I tried smoking. I have that thought, but I didn't breathe in, I didn't inhale. So none of you have that. Because for us, maybe my family, none in the family smoke. My dad don't smoke. And when we find boyfriend, because I am allergic to the smoke, I try to avoid guys that smoke. So during last time, there are people who like to smoke. Once you enter the lift, you can smell them. Can you imagine you have a partner who is a smoker? Their whole body will have this smell. Yeah, even this sister shared that the son also felt that, was so delighted when she managed to quit smoking. So it is with chanting and participating in the purification, washing hands in the golden basin ritual, that she managed to quit. And the other thing is also because she participated in the chanting class. Actually, now there are a lot of people who play a lot of cell phones. Actually, many people, when their bad habits that they want to quit is excessive use on the device. So maybe if you were to write that, maybe that bad habits, you can quit the bad habits.
所以我记得是我们的小时候，像遇上这些。你都没有大师风范的一些修行人的侍者，或者修行人当中，可能底下做一些苦力的帮着摘菜啊、洗碗的。
Sometimes those people
不算什么修行人吧
who are not cultivators,
你给他说话，他那个智商
you find that
反应不过来。
like for those who like washing the vegetables and like who works as like a hawker, you cannot believe that even people like this will be able to bless. When I was young, I remember I was with my master.
他养那个狗。过去人养狗不是当宠物来养的。
This person has a dog. Now they have a dog not as a pet dog. They have a dog because they want the dogs to guard the house. So it's like an extra pairs of helping hands. So the dog has a very strange way of cough. So we felt that if you don't save the dog will die. So came to look for master. So the owners, who is the old lady, came to look for master to help to save the dogs. But master was not home. So one of the disciples. So this old lady, This lady is not the one that helps to do the cooking. It's just who help to clean the vegetables. She is 70 over years old. She don't dress well. Her clothes were torn and tattered. And she tried to seek help to save the dogs. And the messenger said, well, my master is not here. Let me help to bless the dog. Let me help to bless the dog. So he poured a cup of water and he chants on the water and said, you try to feed this chanted the water that has been blessed to feed the dog. So they feed the dog with the blessed water. And after a while, there is no more. The dog stopped coughing. And later on, the dog started to sleep, take a nap. And 10 minutes later, the dog woke up and looked around and wondered, who am I? It's like he was not ill at all. It's regained a new lease of life. And in the moment, the dog was healed. So when we go to the center, do not feel that, oh, the Dharma sisters is that helping me. It's not, doesn't dress so well, or has a white hair. Is it possible for you to bless me? Don't question that. Well, it is not human's power. It is the Buddha's power. Actually, the old lady that bless you, it is also not herself. It is the Guanyin Bodhisattva's 6 syllables that bless you. This is something that you cannot imagine. So this old lady chants for many years. Maybe it is that few chant that saved the dogs. So when we bathe the Buddha, we want to be respectful. So the more sincere you are, you receive more. So for this, Dharma sister, she managed to quit smoking. And not only that, she's so relaxed. Congratulations. We have a present for her, Master? Yes.
好，这个能够速干的弹袖衫儿，这个洗完之后有点风的话，
So this is a quick dry T-shirt. It's very comfortable and it doesn't smell. It's breathable. The fabric is breathable. It's good for exercise, to do energy bagua, or even when you wear to work. So you can even wear to sleep. And at the back, there's also another dragon. So it is very suitable for this year. When you wear these clothes, you will be protected. Thank you, Master.
师父，那我们现场的网友们听着这些故事啊，他们也在留言他们自己的受益。
We have some sharing, Master.
书网友说：“师父好。”
金松书 say that, well, my nephews and the wife. They got married very late, and they're very difficult for them to give birth. They're 40 over years old. They're still not successful when they try IVF. After I knew that, I go to the center to write the wish fulfilling card. And the third time when they try it, after they try for another time IVF, they were successful to give birth to a pair of twins. And they were at 46 years old to have two healthy babies. I have a prize for her. Look at this. This is a giant clamshell bracelet. And every one of them, there is this golden string. This is natural. Maybe you may not see really well. Can you see it's actually like a golden string? It is very clear. And if you were to use light to shine about it, it shines. So this is for Song Su. Congratulations.
那师父接下来给大家带来一个故事，就是供佛供灯，孩子考到好成绩的一个故事。
And Master, we have another sharing.
师父好，我是新烟。
Master, I'm Xin Yan from Ipoh, Malaysia. In 2020, when the pandemic first broke out, Malaysia entered into a full movement control order. As a result, my 16-year-old son could no longer attend schools in person and had to rely on online classes from home. At first, I thought it would be convenient for him to study at home. However, I soon discovered that online classes make it difficult for him to concentrate. He would attend classes while secretly playing games or browsing unrelated websites. As a result, his grades plummeted to the point where he was almost failing. I grew extremely anxious. If this continued, I worried he would not be able to pass the university's entrance exams, which are only 2 years away. I often found myself sternly reminding him to focus, but he would simply tell me, "Mom, it's really hard for me to concentrate." My mind just drifted away. His helpless response left me feeling powerless. One day, I recalled hearing at the Ipoh Meditation Center how many Dharma sisters shared that offering lights and praying to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas had helped their children become more obedient and achieve remarkable academic improvements. Inspired by the story, I decided to offer lights on the 1st and 15th of every lunar month throughout 2020 and 2021, sincerely praying for him to receive the blessings and protections and be more focused, obedient, and devoted to his studies. Gradually, I began to see a change in him. I also placed a small sword of wisdom representing Manjushri Bodhisattva inside his wallet, praying for him to be blessed with greater wisdom, focus, and strength. In 2022, the year of his crucial university entrance exams, I make a specific offerings to Manjushri Bodhisattvas for an entire year, and the result was truly a miracle. That year, he was highly motivated and studied. And during his first round of mock exams, although he still scores B's, C's, and D's in some subjects, he achieved 6 A's, a tremendous improvement. However, he was not satisfied. Instead, he became more determined and told me that he wanted to work harder to achieve 10 A's in actual examinations. Upon hearing this, I offered for 9 days of prayer lights for him, and he achieved 10 A's and secured admissions to extreme universities and received scholarships. What is A? A is the highest level of results. It is not an absolute mark, but it represents a range, so belongs to in that range. It is the best. How many A's? 10, Master. He has 10 subjects, and every subject this is the result slips. He even has some A+. And the thing is that he almost flunked his exams during the pandemic. It was the mom that continuously offered lights for him that there was a change. The mom was worried that he was not able to be successful. So every subject he did well? Yes. Every subject he received A. And that's why the mom was so thankful to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
好，接着讲他的故事啊。
对，就是之后呢，他考出10科 A 的好成绩，顺利还上了他理想的大学。
So he achieved 10 A's. He secured admissions to extreme universities and even received a scholarship. So it was truly beyond belief. So thank you, Masters, for teaching him to accumulate merits. And from someone who was not very motivated in his studies to eventually receiving a 10 A's result and even receive the scholarships. So it was truly beyond belief. The mom is very wise. The mom told him but couldn't change him. So the mom continuously offered lights on his behalf and asked Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to help to bless the child. So the result was something beyond what the moms believed. And that's not the only example. I've seen many in Bodhi meditation. That is, the child has gained great wisdom. Wow, can you believe that? The child attained 10 A's? And the child now loved to come to the meditation centers, even became a volunteer, and the child loved to chant. It became a changed person. Well, this Buddha's light shines upon you. It is truly beyond imagination. So for mothers who are afraid of the child, then maybe you can do that for your child. You seek Buddhas for the protections. Because the moment that you are selected by Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, immediately you gain wisdom. It's like instant wisdom. I'm so happy to hear the story. So you have these t-shirts for you, the Airy Comfort t-shirts, and there's also a beads. Look at this beautiful turquoise color beads. You can wear, even guy and girl can wear it, and wishing your family auspiciousness, and your children will have safe sailings life. Well, the child can wear this to go for universities. And next is a story about a whole family. Hello, Master. I'm Jia Qi from Singapore. I have 3 children, 1 son and 2 daughters. 2 daughters have always excelled academically, but it was my youngest son who caused me the most worry. He is now 25 years old, and since primary school, his academic performance had always been poor. He barely passed every exam. In 2016, after graduating from secondary school at the age of 16 with unsatisfactory results, he could only enroll in Institute of Technical Education to study a 2-year business course. After barely completing the course, he went on to pursue a business diploma for another year and a half. However, those 3.5 years, he did not study seriously. Instead, he fell in with the wrong crowd, spending his days playing pool, drinking, and smoking. Naturally, his grade did not improve, and he seemed completely lost, without any sense of directions. In 2020, he began his mandatory 2 years military service. After completing his service, it was time time to apply for universities. And with just a year left before application deadline, I once again grew deeply anxious about his education and future. Fortunately, by then, I had learned about Bodhi meditations, and I learned the importance of performing merits dedications for children. So I especially offered a year-long Light of Wisdoms at our meditation center for my son. Whenever there was important festivals or special events at the center, I would also offer lights and prayers for him, sincerely wishing for his life to be smooth, auspicious, and peaceful. By great fortunes, even though his academic result was not outstanding, he was still admitted to a private university. In June 2021, the Singapore Bodhi Meditation Center introduced the Manjushri Wisdom Lotus Lights. Since my son's university classes were still more than 6 months away from starting, I quickly offered the lights for him and also brought home a Manjushri Wisdom Sword pendant for him. I told him, I hope Manjushri Bodhisattva will bless you with wisdom so you can study hard and successfully complete your university education. My son loved it and immediately attached the pendant to his keychain, carrying it with him every day. What happened next was beyond my expectations. Just 1 month before university start, he said, from primary school to ITE, my grade has always been terrible. This time I want to give it my all, and I don't want to waste my life anymore. Hearing these words, I was overwhelmed. My son's university program was 2 years long, requiring him to complete 16 subjects. During that period, I saw remarkable transformations. He became extremely focused, hardworking, and gradually developed a sense of purpose and direction. He devoted himself to his studies and even distanced himself from his old circles of bad friends. And he told me, if you want me to succeed, is to surround yourself with people you are motivated and hardworking. I was overjoyed. When he graduated in 24, his transcript was a testament to his hard work. Of the 16 subjects, he scored 12 A's, 3 B's, and 1 C. 75% of his grades were A. For a child who once barely passed his exam, this was truly an incredible achievement. He was also extremely proud and happy with himself. My heart was filled with deep gratitude and emotions. And in 2024, after graduating with honors, he secured a job at an ideal company. Before he started work, I also offered a golden ingot at the meditation center, praying for his smooth career development and success. Amazingly, after joining the company, he quickly distinguished himself and even won the Best Sales Award multiple times. His boss praised him, saying that it was rare to find such an outstanding newcomer. Seeing my child mature into a responsible, focused, and capable young man, I'm filled with heartfelt gratitude to Masters. And not only that, he also gained something. She said that I've always been a very bad-tempered mom. Wherever things that did not go my way, I would erupt in anger. At home, I was a typical tiger mom. Everything had to be under my control. I was extremely strict with my children, and we had 2 family rules. If they lied, they would be spanked with a wooden spatula. If they disobeyed, they would be caned on the palm. If they refused to hold out their hands, I would lash out indiscriminately. Although my children staunchly resented this form of punishment, I never cared. I was especially harsh towards my eldest daughter because I wanted her to set a good example for younger siblings. I remember once she was throwing a tantrum, refused to listen. I beat her with a cane, and she said that you're not worthy of being my mother. Hearing those words were like daggers piercing my heart. The pain was unbearable. My bad temper was affected my work. At that time, I was delivering postpartum meals. One day, my supervisor adjusted my usual delivery route. I immediately lost my temper. I confronted him angrily, yelling at him, "What right do you have to change my schedule?" I even stormed into the office and had a heated argument with him, completely out of control. These lead to a tense relationship with both my supervisors and colleagues and make the work environment very uncomfortable. In 2016, I encountered Bodhi meditations and attended a health and happiness retreat. During the retreat, Master Buddha's teaching helped me learn how to view situations from others' perspective. For the first time, I truly understood what compassion and tolerance meant. I began to reflect deeply on my own behavior and started trying to change, especially within my family. I no longer insisted on having the final say. Instead, I began listening to my children and communicating with them from their point of view. After the retreat, I began practicing the Great Prostration for an hour every day. During the practice, I often reflected on how I had treated my 3 children and realized that my ignorance and selfishness had deeply hurt them, leaving painful scars on their heart. Through this method, I gradually became more calm and peaceful. My physical health also improved dramatically. I had lower back pain for 10 years, and even climbing 2 flights of steps was difficult. But after a year of practicing, the pain completely disappears. I felt I had been reborn. My children also noticed the change in me. Their attitude towards me softened, and our relationships improved. In October 2024, I applied for a government-subsidized course and needed to register for a membership card. But I wasn't clear about the eligibility rule. My eldest daughter, upon discovering this, angrily called me, scolding me like a machine gun. To my surprise, unlike before, I would previously immediately shout back. That day, I remained completely calm and listened patiently, and realized that she was right. My daughter, I even thanked her for her concern, and she was surprised by my reaction. This very daughter who once said, "You don't deserve to be my mother," now became filial and kind. Every year, she even plans family trips for all of us to enjoy together. Deep now, I know this happened because of Bodhi meditations. I've completely changed from a tiger mom into a loving mom. Similarly, at work, I learned to interact better with my supervisors and colleagues with greater wisdom. I no longer explode at the slightest dissatisfactions, but I have learned to communicate, understand, and respect others' opinion. In the past, everyone had to tiptoe around my temper. Now, they find me approachable and easy to work with. Our relationship has improved, and work has become much more smoother and enjoyable. All these transformations came from Master's compassionate and wise teaching, and the blessings of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They taught me how to treat others with wisdom and compassion, and brought harmony to my family, with my son's success, as well as my career. Thank you, Master. Thank you, Buddha and Bodhisattva. So let's talk about the son. The son was someone who don't like to study, and mom continuously accumulate merits, offer lights for him. And when he was in universities, he finally gained wisdom. He completely changed. When he graduates, he got a very good result. He have out of 16 subjects, he received 12 A's. And he had excellent results, and he graduates. And not only that, he got a good career. He have a good sales award. Actually, for him to get such a result within 1 year, that's amazing. So this child is very, very smart. It's like immediately he gained some form of wisdom. The mom must be so happy to see that the child has accomplished so much. We are so happy when we hear the stories. And the mom used to be a tiger mom and constantly used cane to cane the children. But now, the mom also changed. When moms know how to be grateful and listen to the children. And in the past, she even threw a tantrum at the boss. But now, she was able to leave. He was able to accommodate the colleagues and the superiors as well. So after she learned the Buddha Dharma, she started to be concerned about others. And as a result of families, the relationship with others starts to change. This is something that we can understand is Buddha's wisdoms. But what helps the child to gain such wisdom? That is really the Buddha Dharma. It is something that you're not able to achieve. Because the result, it is not, you can't cane your child to help them to gain wisdom. It doesn't work that way. We subsequently find a little bit more about this Dharma sisters. So what was the reason why this Jiaqi's son was so rebellious and went astray? So, why is it that this Dharma sister has such a bad temper? After we chatted with her, we found the reason behind. Actually, this sister, the grandfather ran a pig farm. Where is she from? She's from Singapore. There's pig farm in Singapore? Yes. So the grandfather ran a pig farm. So it must be many years ago Singapore, and she probably have. So for this sister, the grandfather ran pig farms and raised children and duck. So her father inherited the business, which continued until she was about 18 years old. So this business accumulated significant karmic burden due to killings of animals. So in such families, descendants are prone to mental, emotional, or behavioral problems. So the sisters have 8 siblings, and out of the 8, 2 died young. They died. So the 6 of them, and of the 6, 4 experienced divorce, and the remaining 2 had health or mental issue. So in the next generation, so their next generations, many faces serious misfortunes. There are some with mental health issues, there are health problems, and even imprisonment.
其实就是如果是正常的状态下，咱们这个师姐以及她的孩子
If this sister had not turned to spiritual practice, performing good deeds, cultivating and sincerely repent, her descendants might also have faced grave misfortunes. Comparing to her siblings, this sister who followed Master teaching understood the karmic consequences of killing and worked hard to create merits and seek blessings. And the result, she truly changed her family's karmic destiny. It is like you have accumulated karmic creditors. Do you think your creditors will let they will let you off?
魔潮给推回去了，
真好，
真的护佑了，
得到护佑了。到未来还是劝说他们以后多修行哈，多做功德。
So I think it's important that they continue to cultivate.
对。
And continue to do, accumulate merits.
还是为师姐跟儿子高兴的。
是。
师父，咱们也送给他们礼物吧。
好。
So, Master, do we have a present for them? Yes. For this Jiaqi sister, Sister Jiaqi, we have this Purati. Wishing you health and longevity.
还有呢，这2个珠串哈。你看。
And there are two bracelets. The white one is a giant clamshell bracelet. This doesn't have the golden line, and the other one is another very beautiful bracelet. It has this moonlight.
带一种月光的感觉哈。
真美。
对。这个增加了很多温和清净的能量啊！对，
师父，这个符合现在咱们师姐的
Thank you, Master.
对，
很温柔的妈妈。
好。
wishing Jiaqi and the family to be auspicious, and you have a good family. And wishing Jiaqi to enjoy longevities.
师父，那除了这个学业进步以外呢，就是也有网友分享，就是供佛供灯，他孩子找到好工作，的一个故事。好，师父好，我是雅婷。
Master, there's another stories about offerings, how offering helps son find a good job. I'm Yating from Taichung, Taiwan. My son is 30 years old and works in architectural drafting. Although his job was stable, it often required long hours of overtime, rushing to beat deadlines and enduring a high-pressure environment. Starting in 2023, I noticed he frequently frowned and looked utterly exhausted. And one day he said, "Mom, I want to quit my job and take a break." As a mother, seeing him so worn out, of course, my heart ached for him. I thought, maybe it's good for him to rest and recover. But what I didn't expect was that this break would last 4 months. During that time, he never mentioned any plans to look for a new job, nor did he take any action. He stayed quietly at home all day. I began to worry. Could he become increasingly discouraged? Would he lose his drive and turn into a kid out and relying on his parents indefinitely? While my heart was full of anxiety, it happens to hear compassionate teaching from Grandmaster JinBodhi. If you want your child to do well, you must perform good deeds for them. That one sentence immediately awakened me. I started offering lights for my sons and devoted myself to volunteer more, dedicating all merits to him. During that time, there happened to be a special opportunity at the meditation center to make offerings to Yellow Jambhala. With utmost sincerity, I made an offering to my son's name, praying that he would soon find his directions again, rebuilding his confidence and encounter a job that truly suited him. Amazingly, within less than a week after the offerings, my son suddenly called me, sounding excited. "Mom, I went for the interview, and I think this company feels really good." He has gone out for an interview. A few days later, he even got good news. He successfully got the job. It felt truly miraculous. Now, my son has been working at this company for 2 years. During this time, he has not only adapted well but also taken the initiative to shoulder more responsibilities and actively learn various professional skills. Sometimes, he even chat with me about his career path, speaking with a tone full of confidence and clear goals. He tells me, "Now is the time to learn more and to do more. When I eventually change job, I'll have the ability to negotiate for higher pay and better positions." Hearing this makes my heart feel so warmed. This hardworking, grounded young man perfectly embodies what Masters often teaches: to be diligent, practical, and unafraid of hardship. I am deeply grateful to Master's blessings and guidance. Actually, now, there are a high percentage of youngsters who refuse to go to work and just stay at home. I think in today's world, where many industries, because a lot of industries have better economies, and that's why their parents are pretty successful. So what the children do is that they will stay at home. A lot of time just by making noise at home and asking the parents will willingly help them out. But the mom didn't want the son to be so overly reliant on her. Yes, indeed, because the mom is aware that the future will be terrible for the child. So what the mom did was start to offer lights because she had heard from Master's teaching. So the mom helped to offer lights on behalf of the son. And now the son got a job, and he became a changed person. He became a diligent, practical, and unafraid of hardships. Well, it did another unbelievable but it's true. It's real story.
就是这个就是最好的出路。
这佛菩萨得多忙啊！
So Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will be so busy.
对。
但是佛菩萨帮到人，我猜想他们心中也是高兴的。
当然。
I think when Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can help, they must be very happy in their heart. Yes, because at least they saved the family. Can you imagine if this child just continued to stay at home? What happened to the family?
甚至是断后啊！
那可不呗！
就不出门，窝在家里，谁家闺女喜欢这个？
对呀，是的。
What will be the consequences? Maybe if the son continues to stay at home, he doesn't socialize, he may end up not having married, and there's no descendants for the family. So do you have a prize for him?
佛门七宝哈。
This is one of the Buddha's treasure. It is another of these clamshells, giant clamshells bracelet. Hope that you attain more wisdoms and receive the protections of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Actually, a lot of people like these red T-shirts. It does have the dragons that provides with protections. The dragons. This is Chinese calligraphy that I did. There's a print of the golden Chinese calligraphy that I print. And look at the back. There's a dragon. And this dragon is having its head facing up. And there's also the 6 syllables. You can wear this when you drive or when you go for interviews, when you go for exams. You can wear this. I think it's very good. A lot of people on auspicious time, they wear this. So that's why we have this versions. And it provides with protections. So wishing these Dharma sisters, the families, to be auspicious.
说到这个找工作呀，这个孩子他是差点宅在家里。那我听到另外一个故事呢，是来自美国洛杉矶的，是这个行业受一个很大的一个打击啊。就是2023年5月的时候，
next story we have is about a story of a lady.
结果发生了一起
It's about LA.
大罢工。
So recently, there's quite unstable in Hollywood. There was this writer guild and actors guild strikes, and the entire industries almost came to a standstill. Why is it so? Because of the AI's development, there was the AI intelligence supersedes humans.
然后还不是呢，这一波未平一波又起，演员又大罢工。
So not only they have that, there's also a strikes by actor. Not only the writer had striked, not only the writer gives strikes, there's also actor. 160,000 actors went on strikes. So the entire industry in Hollywood almost came to a standstill. Yes, because if the writer refused to write, then the actor refused to work. So it was a major issue. So subsequently, they had a negotiations. They say that, well, with AI, you use my expressions, you use my facial features. What do I get? Do I get some intellectual properties? Or receive some royalties for using my image, my voice, the AI-generated voice, AI-generated image. So a lot So in LA, in the meditation center, this Xia Yun, so she shared her story is that her daughter suffers. She said, I'm Xia Yun from LA. My daughter worked in costume design in the film and television industry. Her work situation is often unstable, and in recent years, with the Writer Guild and Actors Guild strikes, the entire industry almost came to a standstill. She once felt very lost, uncertain about her future. In order to help my daughter find a job as soon as possible, I specially offered lamps for her in front of the Buddha. I also taught her to recite Master JinBodhi's Golden Sutra, encouraging her to read it daily to boost her energy. Especially before jobs interviews, I would suggest that she recite it once. To my delight, she told me it really works. She felt much braver and more confident when facing interviews. In May 2024, I took my daughter to attend the Bathing Buddha ceremony at the LA Meditation Center. During the ceremony, I prayed sincerely before the Buddhas, wishing that my daughter could find a stable and suitable job. Unexpectedly, just 2 weeks later, she brought great news. She has successfully joined the production team of a well-known Netflix series. Over the past year, her work had been remarkably stable. Not only she had continuous projects, but the work is extremely in the field she's most passionate about. It had also been her happiest and most financially rewarding year to date, and her career continues to move smoothly forward. Initially, I only hoped that she could find a stable job that she liked. I never imagined that the blessings from the Bathing Buddha ceremony would manifest so quickly, leading her directly into an ideal project team. So these transformations had deepened my faith that with sincere heart and devotion, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Masters will truly hear our most heartfelt wishes. So Netflix, it is not a traditional film company. It is a leading streaming platform, and it has a promising future. And in fact, they produce many of them themselves. So this is something that I used to watch, and recently I watched some Korean movie. As I watched, I continued to cry because many of the stories were very touching. Actually, on Netflix, we'll be able to see many very interesting shows from all over the world. When we're in Turkey and Greece, we also saw some of this. So it is actually a very recent rise of the industries. Actually, after the pandemic, Netflix is doing even better. I remember last year, toward the end of last year, Tyson's. There was also some streaming of Jackson's fighting. Tyson actually had that streaming. So they have different type of streaming.
就是那种纪录片呐，还有现实的那种剧集呀，都是很多的啊。对，反正总体说是现在最时髦的、最有前途的一种。你看佛菩萨把这丫头弄那里去了。对呀，你看，对。弄到这个奈飞去了。对，多好！这个妈妈在那儿祈求
So the mom, after praying for the daughter, Buddha Bodhisattva gave her an excellent job. She now has a bright future. And that's why she says that the daughter has earned a lot during the year after she got this job at Netflix. So because it's actually film costumes, she probably earned a lot more than if she was an owner of a shop.
太好了。
就感恩佛菩萨。
Well, gratitude to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas.
各地禅堂的这个浴佛法会哈。
I think all of you should go to bathe the Buddhas at the various meditation centers to receive blessings and good health.
有时候神佛要给你解决一件你的这个事儿，这都是不是事儿？
小 case，
小事情很容易就解决了。就包括你要发财、找对象，都是小事。
对，但是没有神佛的加持，我们都
When you have Buddha's blessings, then all your wishes will be fulfilled.
是吧？你有神佛加持的话，那个都是小事儿。
Everything, all the issues becomes very small issues. They are not issues at all. So, Master, we have a gift offering for her.
好，前面这个洛杉矶禅堂也很好啊，那里很灵验哈。
Actually, LA centers is very effective.
也是很棒哈。对，他也很多人去了之后不修，这身体都能健康了。这快乐了都是。
对，到那儿就沾佛光嘛。
When you go to LA Bodhi Meditation Center, even when you a volunteer, you'll receive the Buddha's blessings and Buddha's light.
我就上次在台湾的机场遇到一个人。
When I was in Taiwan recently at the airport, I do not know her, but she knows me because she practiced at Bodhi Meditation Center at LA. She shared that she is very lazy. And to find some work, she went to Bodhi Meditation Center. Actually, this is a guy. And I said, why do you have time? Because he lost his job. So he said that by volunteer at the center, he will receive some merits.
结果呢，用半年，总共1个月，他到禅堂上干了10天，新工作就来了。
He just need to work at the center for 10 days, and after that, he got his new job.
就是这样哈。
对。
好，把这2个珠串哈，这个应该是金丝玉。
Look at this.
我说咋这么漂亮呢？
This is a beautiful chanting bead for her. And this is another similar type of chanting beads.
金丝玉。遇到富贵吉祥的。
Wishing you auspiciousness.
对。得佛菩萨保佑哈。
And you receive Buddha's blessings.
这个霞运世界
For 霞运,
你们全家呢
for you and your family to receive auspiciousness, receive longevities and Buddha's illuminations.
那师父，我们还有一个网友从美国硅谷禅堂，他叫若彤，也想给师父
Master, we have another story from Rotong, Silicon Valley.
他说。师父您好，我叫若彤。
Hello, Master. I'm Rotong. As a foreigner, I've been working in the U.S. on a work visa. However, over the past 2 years, the American economy has been extremely unstable, especially in the high-tech sector, with massive waves of layoffs across many companies. Naturally, I worried about whether I might be affected. I worked really hard, believing that if layoff happens, I shouldn't be the one to go. But one morning, I woke up and suddenly found I could no longer access my company's email. Later, I found out that our entire team had been cut all at once. I was shocked. Luckily, by then, I had already connected with Bodhi Meditation. My first reaction was to drive straight to the meditation center. After hearing my situations, the brothers and sisters at the center immediately suggested that I light offering lights and pray for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for blessings. I lit every type of lights available, and afterwards I felt much more at peace, ready to go home and start applying for new jobs. Coincidentally, that day there was a teacher at center who, after hearing my story, spoke to me seriously. Your situation is critical. Since you're on a work visa, losing your jobs could mean facing deportations. This is a big issue. You should write an email to Master. If Master sees it, you might receive special blessings and perhaps the difficulties can be overcome. I took the advice to heart. That night, I stayed up to write an email to Master. In the letter, I expressed my deep gratitude for all the protections and good fortune Master has given me so far, both in my career and personal life, and I sincerely ask for Master's blessing to help me through this crisis. About 2 or 3 days later, early one morning, I had a dream. In the dream, Masters was giving a Dharma teaching in a spacious, brightly lit lecture hall. Sunlight streamed in front from the left. The steps ascended tiers by tiers, and Masters was walking down the steps, introducing various sacred items to the audience. As he spoke, Master suddenly took out a small bronze bowl. It shines brilliantly. I was wondering, what is this bowl for? When it was passed directly into my hand, the moment I received the bowl, I immediately woke up. The dream was incredibly vivid. I could even feel the heavy weight of that little bowl on my palms. At the time, I didn't think too much about it, assuming because I'd been watching Master video often. What you think about by day, you dream about by night. However, 2 days later, a company I previously interviewed with suddenly contacted me. They told me a new position had just opened and asked if I was interested. They said my previous interview performance had been excellent, and although time had passed, I would only need one more interview with the manager before hiring decision could be made. It was only then I realized the bowl in the dream was a rice bowl, a metaphor for jobs and livelihood. Master had truly given me a golden rice bowl in my dream. I was overwhelmed with emotions and felt my luck had truly turned around. I seized the opportunity. The final interview was held online. Following the advice from my sisters at the meditation center, I placed Master Blessed card next to my computer, closed my eyes briefly before the interview, and visualized Master, energy fields surrounding both me and the manager. During the interview, I could clearly sense the manager's attentiveness and positive impressions. It was as if he was immediately drawn to me. Just 2 days later, I received the offer letter. From being laid off to landing a new job, the whole process took just 10 days. Even more incredible, this position has a better title, and my boss turned out to be one of the best supervisors I ever had. To these days, I'm still working at this company, grateful to Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Master's compassion, blessings, and protection. During those 10 days of unemployment, it wasn't just about losing a job. It was about facing the risk of losing legal status in the US. So it was like surviving a life and death ordeal, as if giving birth to a new life in those 10 days. Can you imagine the pressure she faced? No wonder she immediately went to the center, because it's not possible to find help from other person. That's why she seek help from Buddhas, from the divine. And this interviews was actually from a company that she sought a job 1.5 years ago, and they came at the right time. Look how poor medicine Buddhas is. And that's why I say our Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are medicine Buddhas that cares of our livelihood. If you have a wish, he will try to fulfill your wish. Your life, your status, your legal status has been resolved, your job has been resolved, and you even have this auspicious dream. And when in the dream, Master gave him the golden bowl, he had no idea what it was. So people in the Silicon Valley, when you have issues, when you face with jobs issues or legal status issue, please go to Silicon Valley Meditation Center, because they'll be able to help seek Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to help you look for a job. And all these blessed items by Masters, they are very auspicious. If you can one of this bowl, I've been blessed. A treasure vase. Master always says that your family will have good food, will have food, you have jobs, you will have good, successful career,
小事儿，那是大加持。对，
对，其实很多的这个法务哈，如果不懂的话，
Actually, many blessed items, people who don't understand would just think that, well, this, what is the rice bowl? Well, it's basically to give you a career, what it implies. And what about the incense burners? It represents your descendants will be very auspicious and be very prosperous.
就是你那个供佛，你的香炉如果不好或出了问题，就不太好。
But if the incense burner that you have at home is not so good, then it may bring you some negativities. And even the pencil holders with master's blessings, it will bring you wisdom. Today we have this.
其实咱们的佛，我们信的是啥哈？其实容易让我们特别理解的就是带给你智慧。
What we understand is Buddhas will bring us wisdom.
孩子从读书考试到就是学业有成去找工作哈，他都需要智慧。
Well, when you look for jobs, when you study, you need great wisdom. So when you have a pencil holder, a good pencil holder,
都给你带来知识。
It will bring you knowledge.
带来好的机会。
And good opportunities.
所以好的这个笔筒呢，在雕刻的时候特别的讲究。
And some of these they have very good carving.
这里头能够吸收到很多的智慧。
So that you gain a lot of wisdom.
朋友们哈，在考大学的时候
，especially for those who need to go for exams, for university exams, we hope that you'll be able to have good results and you will have good career, a successful career.
对，今天的工作不完全靠体力。
Actually, the jobs in today's world, a lot of time you need to have mental capacity. So these blessed items, these sacred blessed items, have this meaning. When you have the rice bowl, it doesn't mean just yourself having food on the table. It also means your entire family will have food on the table. Especially when this golden rice bowl was given directly by masters.
宝物的碗哈，这是世界的梦中了，在事实上有很多就是古董的贵重的碗。
Actually, there are a lot of antique rice bowl. What it brings you is the fortunes of wealth and auspiciousness. It's not only for yourself, but for your descendants to be able to continuously enjoy success. And that's what a bowl represents, especially those antique bowls represent. So sometimes when we show some of these collections, you may say that, oh, this is too dark, I don't want. Well, that's because you lack understanding. Because it has its inner meaning as well, divine meanings as well. Most importantly, Master, as a great cultivator, has provided it with blessings, has auspicious blessings on the item. Well, whether you like as a human being, whether you love money or not, you need food on the table. If you lack food on the table, if you don't eat enough food every day, you will lack the energy. How can you continue to work?
是不是啊？饿3顿的话，就栽倒了，可能爬不起来了。
是这样的。
所以这个饭碗哈，就如此的重要。希望我们的药师佛哈，
And that's why having food on the table
人人都有饭吃
is so important. And that's why medicine Buddhas want to make sure that everyone will have a job. Everyone will be a very diligent person, and you'll be able to enjoy auspiciousness and prosperity. So we have a present for her, for Rotong.
这若彤这姑娘很幸运哈。
Rotong is very lucky.
这么一个宝物哈。
So there's this blessed bracelet for you.
来看看，你看五光十色的哈。
对，美美的。
把这个好运就带给你。
And bring this auspiciousness to you.
在美国
Wishing you in the U.S. to have a successful career and successful life in the U.S. And you have a good future, a good family, and have longevities. All things auspicious.
我们有个网友也在分享，这个太优网友他说，佛力太神奇了。我的二儿子也是。
太优 also shared that my second son, I offer lights for him, and he went through 6 rounds of interviews and successfully accepted by Facebook Meta. Well, it's not easy to go through 6 rounds of interviews.
最多的面试了，6轮面试。
大公司嘛，要求严，
很多人申请那个。
梦寐以求的哈，很多人都不敢想去这公司。
People don't even dare to dream of that they'll be able to get to Facebook Meta, but by chanting, like offering,
太棒了。
well, he managed to get in.
恭喜恭喜
Congratulations.
好。
好的，
好。
师父，我们这个直播一开始的时候给网友们就介绍了哈，浴佛节就要到了。
So, Master, at the beginning of it, we did share that bathing the Buddhas is coming. It is the actual day. Actually this weekend, coming weekends, a lot of meditation centers are hosting this event, May the 4th.
时间早点安排哈，到禅堂去看一看，听到这些不能不信的故事哈，我们也要去沾佛光啊。那可是就是如果说不能够去到禅堂，
Well, if you cannot go to the center, or if you want to receive more blessings, if you can't go to the meditation center, or if you want to receive more blessings, you can go to Bodhi Meditation College website. It has just launched new merits projects, and the first one is to offer flower offerings. If a flower offered before the Buddhas, the beauty, you will have beauty praised by all. So you will gain a radiant, beautiful appearance, noble appearance, and a life of happiness and good fortunes. So how much is it? It is $8 per stamp. That's like price of a bubble tea, a cup of bubble tea. That's the low threshold.
咱禅堂附近的那个那个店呢，那个叫bubble tea 哈。
There one that's a shop very near to the center. It's bubble tea.
就是奶茶哈。带个豆豆的奶。
The bubble tea shops.
那是前年了哈，3年前。
3 years ago.
大概16到18美金。
It's about
18加币。
16 or 18 Canadian dollars. So it's about $14 US for a cup. So if you add some stuff, it's much higher.
8块钱现在就不能成为消费的哈。
是，所以非常感恩师父。
So thank you, Master, for having such a low threshold to make these flower offerings.
能够在佛前真诚的供一朵花啊。
大家呢用少的钱呢，能与佛结缘。
So we hope that with less money, you will be able to have a chance So this is a good time to share and introduce to newcomers. It's a great platform for guiding and helping others so that they too can receive this auspiciousness. And not only that, we also have lamp offerings. The lamp offering starts from There are 5 types of lamp, 6 types of lamp offerings. There's a safe travel, blessing lights. That's health and happiness, blessing lights. Wisdom opens, blessing light. This is very suitable for children. And wish fulfilling, blessing light. And great fortune, thriving career and flourishing family, blessing light. And there's a purified karma, endless merits, and family prosperity, blessing light. We can base on our needs. We can pick the different types of lights. The more sincere you are, then you will receive more blessings. So it starts from the moment that you order that until May the 6th.
时间越长呢，其实我们就得到佛菩萨更多的加持，对啊，是这样的一个。
So we receive more blessings if we can offer longer.
我们菩提禅修学院网站有这个优质客户的福利哈。
And we also mentioned before that there are some you can use the there are actually you'll be able to use your Bodhi rewards. There's a preferred customer perks that you can use. So if you are a new customer, of Bodhi Meditation College. If you to spend US $100 on your first order, you will receive $100 in Bodhi rewards.
的菩提奖金，再去做任何的功德啦、供养啊、供灯啊、供花呀，包括法物的迎请啊，
You can even invite blessed items.
平台上就都是可以的。买100送100，对。
So you spend $100 and you receive $100.
也欢迎我们的老网友哈，去广为传播，带来新朋友，跟佛结缘，也开始他们的吉祥人生。
So we hope that our friends who have belonged to spread this to others. And also we hope that masters can bless to the Yusu Home sponsors. I sincerely grateful to all friends who support and sponsor our online Dharma propagations. Thanking you for your support. It doesn't matter the amount that how much you sponsor us, but we like to give you the greatest blessing. May Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will bless all who support and sponsor our online Dharma propagations. May you receive longevities, good health, wisdom, beautiful features, prosperous career, a peaceful home, a thriving lineage, and great fortunes and auspiciousness. Thank you, Master. So receive so much blessings from Masters.
到这个语树房语树home.com 这个网站上
And we welcome our new friends to go to Yusu Home to sponsor Grandmaster JinBodhi's online classes so that everyone will receive auspiciousness and a thriving lineage. So our next live stream announcement will be Asia Taipei time, May the 4th, 9 a.m. and North America, Vancouver time, May the 3rd, 6 p.m. We'll see you then. So we see you during the next live broadcast. Thank you all.
小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。